Woohoo! Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Hopefully, I guess we'll give you guys a few minutes to pile in. I'm not sure if anybody's going to join because I really didn't put anything out. I guess I was going to do something today. Then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I think I will do something today. So I did. Who knew? So I thought I'd just kind of open it up, have like a Q&A. Tired. We had to take Sherry to the hospital today. They had to do, I guess, some scans to see what's going on because all of her levels aren't normal yet. So we'll see. Hey, what's up, Empress? How you doing, girl? Happy belated birthday. You care to join? Come on, jump on in. I'll tell you what I will do. Why don't I put the link up so you guys can join me in here if you'd like. Let me do that. Where is my link? No, that's not what I'm looking for. Oh, there it is. Copy invite link. There we go. And I'm gonna post this on here. There we go. So yeah, if you guys want to come jump on in, ask some questions, hang out for a little bit. We will do a men's soul chat, I guess, next week. Clinton, if you want to join you, I think you already have the link. Let's see here. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, me and Sherry. Yes. So we ended up having to go today to find out all of her levels. I mean, her liver numbers look great, but all the rest of the levels are really offset. So they're going to probably do some testing to make sure everything is landing where it's supposed to. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll be something that won't require her to go back into surgery. And so keep sending your good well wishes and your energy. And, you know, we really love you as a soul family. And thank you for being here. If you want to join, I posted the link. So please feel free. Oh, it looks like we do have somebody joining. Is it Indira? Oh, well, she's not there yet. She'll be there shortly. How are you, Sunshine?
I'm doing good. A lot of breakthroughs today, but I'm doing good.
Awesome. Well, welcome to Soul Chat. Look at it. It's just us. Who knew? We're here. Yeah. Well, don't worry. They'll all start joining at some point.
Yeah.
I was just giving a light update on Sherry. She may pop in. Her daughter's here.
Good.
I am attempting to do Thanksgiving dinner, so I'm not going to be on long, but I will be here to, you know, kind of just keep us all connected. Yeah, I'm going to do Thanksgiving. I've never done it, so this is really interesting for me. You know, it's like everything, she had me prep everything to get everything ready, right? She tells, not like Sherry doesn't get to tell me what to do. She just gets to tell me what to do. So anyway, that I guess I just kind of have just flowed with what that is. And it's going so far so good. Tomorrow morning, got to get up about 4 or 5 a.m., put the turkey in.
It's a lot of gratitude for this holiday, huh?
Yeah, it's different. It's real different. And hi, Beverly.
How you doing?
Hi, Beverly.
How you doing?
Let's see. Let me see if we got any questions or anything anybody wants to talk about. I'm going to kind of keep an eye on things here. I did post the link. If you'd like to join, feel free. Well, hello, Sincerely Siren. Welcome to our channel. Binge watching. If you binge watched Lee and Sherry, you know, I don't even know what to say other than bless you. And I'm sorry. I can always say I'm sorry ahead of time, right? Let's see. Here comes Clinton. So, well, this will be awesome. We got 2 guys, 2 girls, so we can really talk some connection if we choose to. So that'll be awesome. What's up, big dog? How's it going, man?
Good, mate. Yourself?
You know, I'm doing all right. I'm going to take a few days off. I usually don't because, you know, I stay connected pretty good. And we're gonna have people who get to come at a distance and have happy Thanksgiving with us here. You guys, what do you guys have over there? You're
We
over
don't.
in Europe.
We don't. It's just another day here.
Yeah. So we're off, so we don't have to work. So at least, we have Black Friday, which supposedly happens everywhere on the planet Earth, as far as I heard.
Yeah, Black Friday's only just sort of come here in the last couple of years, so it's not really a big thing yet.
Hi, puppy. Oh. Now, who's this? Who do we have here?
I'm actually just sitting for this dog. He's a baby too, so he was real hyper yesterday, and so I've been playing Reiki music and incense, and he's now calmed down. Now he was so hyper yesterday, and I think he's just getting used to me. So I think, which is good.
Well, that's
These are different
normal
than-
for masculine energy. It really is. That's kind of a normal trait that we all carry.
Oh.
Men and women who have masculine, it does take a minute to calm it down. Is that about accurate, Clinton? That's
Yeah.
a pretty accurate way to look at it.
Yeah.
And yes, the Zen atmosphere helps us more than because we're used to, not having too much Zen. Let's see here. Can we talk about the emotional purging? It feels like I've been crying all week. Ooh, that is a good one. What is emotional purge? Anybody want to take a crack at it? Want to try it, Clinton? What when you hear emotional purge, what does that mean to you?
Involuntarily releasing everything.
Mm-hmm. No permission given, just happens.
Yeah,
Can't stop it. Been there, I've done that.
Yeah.
Does that happen in connection or without connection? Or both? Well, when I think of emotional purging, do you remember when you were really young and you went into your room and shut the door and you didn't let anybody
Yes.
in, you just let it go?
Mm.
Yes.
It seemed like that is very similar to what I believe emotional purge is. Hi, China.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm super new and I'm super nervous. And like I
Oh.
said, I've been crying all week. So excuse the puffy face, the eyes, the head wrap
Aw.
over here. So my real name
well-
is China, but I go by Sincerely Siren on YouTube. So hi, everybody.
Oh, well, wonderful to meet you. Wonderful to meet. So what is emotional, when you're saying an emotional purge, are you telling yourself stories, then letting it out? Or are you letting it out, then telling yourself a story?
Okay, 1 second. Let me see if I'm muted. I hear some like,
I think that's, seems to be Beverly.
okay. I'll just give her a sec. Okay. So,
There.
a little backstory. Whew. I met my twin when I was 15. So I feel like it's very long. I'm 27 next month. So we've done all the phases, the runner chaser, all that, all the craziness that you can think of. That's why I've been binge watching, because it's like, finally someone understands. Like, I'm not this crazy, psychotic, young person just like doing all the stupid and love stuff. So as of recently, I blocked him 2-3 weeks ago, unblocked him, and then we came back together. And in this, I couldn't ignore the fact anymore. Like, I couldn't ignore that I know what's happening to me. I've repressed the twin flame stuff. I used to be super into it, blocked, deleted everything, and now I find myself back into it. But it's different this time. It feels more so, whereas I used to point the finger, like, oh, you're making me feel insecure. Oh, you're making me feel like there's another person. I sit in those stories and I feel like the inner child is like, hey, let me tell you why you actually feel like this. It was way before he came along. It was way before he ever even drew breath. I'm a little older than him by like 4 months. So like, you know? So I'm sitting here, I'm like crying. I'm like going through all the stories I've had in my head. I'm going through all the stories that we actually lived down our 3D lives before we even thought to connect to ourselves. So yes, it's a long story short. I say all this to say this. Yes, it's a lot of the stories that I've been telling myself, but instead of projecting, I'm sitting in it. And it feels so, I wouldn't say so yucky, but it also feels so freeing. But with this, what do I do now? Because it's not like as I'm changing, I'm seeing those outward changes. It's like I'm processing this, and I do see that I can hold space for our connection a little better. But I still see myself getting caught up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I
Makes
said a
perfect
whole
sense.
bunch, but
No, you actually, you said a lot of things that, but I guess what we need to focus on is the question. The question that you need to be asked is, are you accepting the you that's going through all of that?
no.
Then how can you be connected?
Dang it, I knew you were gonna call me out. Yeah, I feel like I don't accept it because I never had
Do
to.
you feel your head doing this as you're looking up over there?
Yeah.
So you're not going to accept the you in there that really wants this connection. You're not going to accept the you in there because how does it fit into your story? And that's what happens in this connection. The connection comes along, and then you're like, well, wait a minute. This doesn't really, I mean, I have this eternal bliss over here, but it doesn't match with what I've come from. And we see this a lot, right? Because people go in there, search a whole bunch of information only to find out that they're going to have separation, not realizing they don't need it. But
Right.
according to whatever is out there and whatever it is you stumble across, you feel like you need separation. Thing about that is it never does anything for you on the inside. What you need to actually heal is your acceptance. Do you accept who you are in your story? And are you ready to tell her she doesn't have to live that story anymore?
I feel like I used to draw pride from that story or a sense of self or an identity.
Right.
And
the identity. Here, ask yourself this. Name one time that identity was actually loved.
maybe pitied, but I don't think it was ever loved.
Did you say maybe? Girl, that job, if you have an identity, how can you be loved by anybody?
Right. And that's always been my my complaint, because I can connect. I'm an empath. I do all the spiritual stuff, but I felt like no one could connect to me. And then I would realize, like, what have you been showing? Is that even truly you? So now I feel like I'm at the point, both in this journey and just like in womanhood, where it's like, I want to be accepted for me. And like, even the yucky parts, even the little girl that feels like everybody leaves, like even the little parts of me that I kind of feel ashamed of, like sitting in that emotion. Because you've been talking about sitting in your pain a lot. And like, although I do it, there's still like a part of me that's like, sister girl, this is disgusting. Like these feelings are yucky and you barely can handle it. So how can he even remotely think about handling it?
But if you ended up abandoning the judgment, you would actually be connected to yourself. Is that what you're saying? Now, I want you to really pay attention to what that means. Because when it comes to connection, the one thing that we do in the very beginning is we abandon our judgment, and then we recall it because we missed the rejection. Now, take it from me. That is one of the hardest parts of connection, because you have a story you have that you came into this world, you felt connected to. Then as you got a little bit older, as time went on, you felt disconnected from. So time is our biggest disconnect. You're carrying a story from the past. The identity of that story is who you think you are, but it's never been who you feel you really are.
Right.
So when have you ever let anybody connect to how you feel? Now, you kind of said, I'm an empath. So what I'll do is I'll abandon my feelings for everybody else's, because that seems to be what we're all taught as empaths. There's
Right.
not an empath school we can go to, right? If there was, who would sign up? Who would go to that school? How many human beings do you think would sign up to go to empath school, where you would go to a school and actually get an education on feeling?
Right, not many.
Oh, I think a whole lot of them would
Really?
at this point.
I feel
I think they're done. I think we're done as a planet. We're done not feeling each other. We're
Yeah.
tired of thinking.
I feel like it's safer not to feel. Is that safe to say? In this world.
But if you really look at why we feel that way, it's because we think we know what other people think of us. But yet nobody knows what you think about yourself. It's like the entire escape plan and that whole thing is you get to tell yourself what other people think of you as a way to make sure that you don't really pay attention to how you're thinking about yourself. So how do you stay connected? How do you stay connected to you from thought? Because thought was never, tell me one thought that ever got you loved. Tell me one thought that ever told you that you weren't going to be rejected.
No, that I feel like that's the primary thought. It's like yeah.
So your thinking is fear-based, and we don't even pay attention to what fear really is. Fear is the thought pattern and process that attacks your feelings, and you blame everybody around you for it.
True.
So how can you be connected if you enjoy that? Not that a lot of people enjoy it.
Okay, I know we talk about getting connected to ourselves, and I understand that there's a level of non-judgment that needs to get into that. It's how did you let go of that story, like those stories? Because like I'll tell you, like honestly, because I do feel like this is a safe space. My inner story is your dad left, your dad wasn't emotionally there, so everybody that looks like a male is going to do that. You weren't good enough, you're not this, you're not that. Like it's and it's crazy because like on the outside looking in, like I'm that girl. Like my friends come to me, my family come to me, like grown-ups come to me for like emotional and spiritual guidance, and then there's like this big hole in my heart that's like you just don't got it, like you didn't have it, and it's like an inadequacy, you know. I don't know. It's like I feel like that is the hardest part to circumnavigate to connect with.
That makes
sense. I do see how it shows up in my connection all the time, like all the time.
And Clinton,
Yes.
How do you handle not having connection from the two people you're connected from? How did you get through that a majority of your life?
Exactly the same.
Did you notice that what Clinton's actually saying is everything you just said has been his entire life?
Mm.
And when he found connection, he pushed her away to someone else because he couldn't trust connection. So what you're actually saying is, I don't trust the half of me that I'm actually know that I came from on the inside. So why would you let anybody be connected to you if you're telling yourself that? And see, there's not a level of judgment. There's judgment or no judgment, because you can't get away with a little. Have you ever just, if you really look at what you feel on the inside, every time judgment gets involved, it does something to that feeling, but it's not a healing aspect of actually feeling what you actually feel. Your hurt, the hurt that you carry. How do you let somebody connect to you and love you in it?
Recently, I've been allowing myself to cry in front of my mom. And it's a baby step, but I didn't even emote or like even vocalize my feelings outside of like anger and frustration. So like today, I kind of let it out. And granted, she probably didn't know what to do with it. But like, I feel maybe that's just the first step, like to share. I don't know. Ask that question. I feel like I'm just rambling.
Right. Here's the big thing. Why didn't you tell your mother what you needed?
I feel like she was too busy.
There it is. So you already made an excuse of how you were going to be abandoned, then told yourself that's exactly how she would show up. Instead of just grabbing your mom's hand and say, can you just hold me for a minute? You make everything more important than you. So why would you let anybody try to do something different, especially if it's someone you're connected to and that's your practice? When does somebody get to love the real you?
They don't.
Ouch.
I don't mean to laugh. It's a nervous giggle, but like they don't.
Well, everybody who's watching this is in the same space or keeps going back into the same space. That's the cycle we have. We choose a cycle where we get to tell ourselves because that's what we believe. Nobody understands that they believe that templates are what we have to go through, not realizing that there's only one fucking template, and it's called belief. Not connection, it's called belief. As long as you get to believe anything, you're nowhere near destroying any template or getting rid of one. As a matter of fact, you're investing in one even more because you believe that you can get rid of thought to have connection. Not make thought your friend so you can experience connection. Because your thinking is always going to be there. It's been there since you came into the world because somebody taught you. And the people that taught you were two people you were connected from. And you carry all of the things that happen to them within you. As an empath who found connection, you know how to be absent from yourself and turn around and think you're choosing your feminine connection, but then kind of abandoning yourself in that space too.
Yeah.
Because you probably always were there for mom's feelings, but when did you let her there for yours? So the girl inside who's doing this, are you connected to her? It's hard to stop after you started.
Because I feel I my head's shaking no, because she's like, listen, you've been ignoring me for so many years. But then my logical mind's like, well, I kind of listen, but then I listen with that judgment of like, girl, this is too much. Like, you carrying all this is too much.
So who gets to take the measurement of too much, equate that in a judgment, but who ends up feeling all of that in the end and is end up by herself in the end? She's the one you're looking for. Because without her, why would you ever let yourself have connection?
Right.
Do you know how important she is?
If anything, she was
That's okay. You didn't do anything wrong.
if anything, she was the one that knew first.
Oh.
And through life, I kind of had to tell her to shut up. Like, we have things to do. We got other people to date. We got to deal with my daddy issues, mommy, like we got to deal with all this other stuff. I can't talk to you right now. I can't even tend to you. But she's the one with like, and it sounds crazy, and it might be crazy.
I'm
but
judging it. I'm judging it. You don't need to judge it. You just see, that's where you just hurt yourself again. That's how you silenced her. Stop judging her. It's not crazy.
Yeah.
You're not losing your mind. You're starting to realize your mind isn't you.
Right. But without the judgment, I will say she was the first that knew that there was a greater love than what I was observing. Like from a very young age. But
who did you let her go to talk about that?
No one.
So you silenced her. Then you found a connection that met you in the silence. Do you know how many of us are watching right now that this has happened to? That's what I'm saying. It's like everything you feel, all of a sudden, you're allowed to feel them, and you don't have to hide them, and you don't have to judge them. But then you just don't know who you are when you're not doing that. You're afraid to be her, the one you silenced. But she's the one that wants connection and needs connection. and you've never let her have what she wants or needs. Why not now? Too much past?
No. And then here comes the judgment.
Somebody say something. It's like that.
Yeah.
What do you need the judgment for? In connection.
It feels like protection. It feels like
Protect-
protection.
Okay, let's
I'm
all.
sorry. I feel like I'm derailing the whole conversation.
No, I think this is important because I think you're talking about stuff we all want to talk about. So check this out. Let's get straight. Let's make it clear. And let's not only make it clear, let's make it very profound. Is protection a way to love yourself or keep yourself from being loved?
Keep myself from being loved.
Would you agree, Clinton?
Oh, yes.
How about you, Indira? Do you feel that protection is keeping love from you or allowing you to be loved?
The first one, 100%.
Okay, a lot of the illusion is I protect myself because I love myself is bullshit. Shut the fuck up. There's no truth to that. It's called a block. And then when somebody physically blocks you on the other side, you think they did it. You're not even catching yourself in this state. That's Beverly.
Yes. I agree totally.
Awesome. Would
Yeah.
you say that when we protect or when we're making ourselves safe, we're cutting or we're disconnected? That's all that is.
Oh, for
Yes.
sure.
It's a hiding in the shadow.
So why is it that we all believe that we need to protect ourselves when you really can't protect yourself from shit? In this connection, what have you been able to protect yourself from? Really?
Exactly. Yes.
Clinton, what have you been able to protect yourself in this connection?
Nothing.
No?
It's torn my whole old belief system to absolute shreds.
As a man, when I was protecting myself, it seemed like I had no feelings.
Yeah.
I would say that it's not much different for a woman either. So when we're protecting, we're automatically blocking.
Mhm.
Why are we okay with that? What has that ever given you?
Nothing.
So we're okay just accepting that it gives us nothing to protect ourselves. And we get mad when somebody really wants to connect to us or they really want us to just take this protection wall down. And we're not seeing that they're doing it because they want to connect to how we feel. And you know where we learn this? We learn this as children.
Right.
And we have to accept that we're taught this when we really, if we had a choice, wouldn't have wanted to learn it. Because for the rest of our life, we now have to have an onboard fear factor to why we don't let anybody in, why we don't connect, why we can't have what we want. If you could get the chance, China, to sit down with your father and tell him what you needed and you didn't have to protect yourself, would you and your father heal?
Here's me trying to abandon my needs and wants in this. I want to say yes. The reason I don't is the same reason I don't express my feelings with my counterpart. This might be too heavy. They might not be ready. They might not have the emotional fortitude to understand, which keeps me then still disconnected and not getting that healing.
So would you say that you are in the habit of telling yourself what people you're connected to think?
Oh, for sure.
And how often do you think you're right?
Very. like probably not even close.
Right? It's like we go to look for. Have you ever been so right that you were pissed at yourself?
Yes.
You know how that did you knew that you couldn't go into the conversation because you told yourself you were going to be rejected, and then you went to them with that same energy, and they rejected you because you started off rejecting them, and you never even catch that because you tell yourself how somebody thinks.
Right.
How's that ever going to get you connected to? And it would be like this: if Indira, if there was a connection where you actually had to go into the connection, be completely vulnerable to be connected to, would they choose somebody else? Isn't that interesting? It's like you can feel the answer in you, but you'll never say it out loud because you're trapped. But you're not trapped, you're set free. You just don't see it that way.
You might have just saved me $300 on a therapy session. You're right. And you know who answered that little girl? I kept shh, 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 shh.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, no, like we got this if you just let us all be. And I don't know if this is anybody else's experience, but you can definitely chime in, not to take over and host, but when I get insecure about being, I start that pushing, that doing. And I feel like people can start feeling, definitely my twin can feel it's from a place of lack, and it's like a very heavy place. Does that make sense? Or does that happen to anybody else?
What do you lack? In the present moment, what can you actually lack?
I don't know.
Shouldn't you have an answer for that?
Yeah.
Oh, and you don't have an answer for why you lack.
I can tell you, like, the vision I have in my head, it's like a proverbial, like, invisible carrot that I keep dangling in front of myself to keep like trotting further. And it's just like this, it's a phantom. It's like, it's not even I don't know. I can't put a word to it. It's not emotional depth because I know it's there. I know who I am or like what I am, but I can't tell you what I'm lacking. But there's an emotional part that feels that she's lacking something.
Because you silence her? I mean, if you've never given her a voice, that means you've given her very little, so she's definitely lacking, right? She's lacking you letting her out.
Mm.
So why isn't anyone allowed to love you is going to be found in that space all by itself? What you actually feel, China, how do you make it matter to that girl?
I don't even know where to start, to be totally honest. Like,
but your head is shaking no, like you're never going to do that. And the only place you're going to be able to do that would be now, right? You've never had anything outside of this moment. So how can you be connected to if you're still doing this?
Right.
What have you got to lose? You're afraid to lose nothing. Clinton's afraid to lose nothing. Indira's afraid to lose nothing. I'm afraid to lose nothing. Anybody watching, Beverly's afraid to lose nothing. We're all afraid to lose nothing. Do you know why we're afraid to lose nothing? Because we don't know how to hold on to something.
Mm. Mm.
You felt that?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a connection and you want to tell yourself all the rules of what this connection is supposed to be to you in your life, but you're not even that to yourself first. So why would you ask for them to give you something you don't give yourself?
Mm.
You want them to be faithful to you when you silence yourself. So they get cheated out of how you actually really feel and how you could actually communicate from it. And then they'll meet somebody who's completely open to them because that's what they want from you. And they think you don't want them. You're not connected to them because this person over here seems to be completely open in their conversation and communication with you. Wait a minute. Did I even give them a chance to experience me being open? To me, not hold back, to me, to just share what I'm feeling, not about them, but about yourself.
Mm.
This
Is
would
it
be
safe to say?
Go ahead.
Is it safe to say that in the earlier stages that was easier?
Yes,
Before we
because-
accumulate the lessons and before we accumulate the push and pull and all of the, I don't want to even call it drama, because if I were to tell you guys all my business, it would sound like a novel. But to me, it still doesn't. It doesn't sound like, it doesn't feel like drama, but it's a lot. It's a lot of a story, you know. But I feel like I was able to do so in the beginning stages when I didn't know what it was. Like,
a lot of people call that the bubble phase, or they call it the honeymoon phase. It's called a lot of different things. But the truth is, you have no problem being vulnerable to somebody new, because when you came into this world, you knew how to be vulnerable. But then
right.
at some point, you're on a timeline, the same timeline in which you abandon your vulnerability for other people and the way they thought about you is the same timeline you're on in this connection. You're just being rehashed through it again, to repeat it, to see if you'll make the same choice. Will you silence yourself, or will you open up and be vulnerable all the way through? We have yet to meet anyone who's been able to do that. Your thinking doesn't allow it. When did your thinking tell you that vulnerability is going to get you loved?
Never.
So how do you ever receive love? Can you receive love without vulnerability?
No.
So what we've done is we come into this connection, we let them experience our vulnerability, then we start to pull it away, and then they start to feel like they're not good enough for our vulnerability anymore, and we wonder why they're running to somebody else, why they're running away from us, why they're not choosing us, why they're not doing this, why they blocked us. Meanwhile, we're over there going, you'll never be close to my vulnerability because my vulnerability is not something I share in connection anymore. Your speech is the identity that used to be you. This connection wants you to birth through that. But why would we choose that when we don't even realize that that's what this connection is asking of us? Connection doesn't give a shit about relationship. It doesn't give a shit about your rules. It doesn't give a shit about your expectations. As a matter of fact, it makes you suffer the more you have those. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you me and Sherry are on this picnic. No, me and Sherry have fucking hurt the shit out of each other based on trying to make a connection, a relationship, trying to make it what's already here. This connection doesn't want that. It doesn't even know what that is. So when my heart gets a searing pain in it, I'm making it into a relationship. She's not. What's going on with you? Why do you seem distant? Oh, well, my heart started hurting. Well, you're not speaking from it, so that's probably why it's hurting. Hey, right? It's like, get out of my space. But at the same time, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you called me on my shit. We shouldn't be saying to each other, oh, I can't tell them I'm connected to them. I can't tell them they're my twin flame. You're damn right. You can't tell them you're twin flame because they're going to look at you and go, are you even connected to yourself? That's your worst fear. That is our worst fear. To be asked if we're connected to ourselves, to even experience connection with them. Because we have so much mind noise, we've forgotten what connection is. It's not anything you can think. It's everything you can feel.
Right.
Clinton.
Yeah.
How do you let someone connect to how you feel?
Being vulnerable. Not hiding in my head.
You still learning to do it?
Yeah.
Do you notice that you have a lot of unlearning still to do too.
Yeah.
We're in the same space. I can sit in peace in it though. I realize that if my head's going to say a bunch of shit, I need to just not be in my head and just feel everything that I'm feeling. And I realized my mind just kind of shuts up after a while.
Yeah, I've noticed it.
You've noticed that too?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to just being completely vulnerable, open, right?
Mm.
I find that I have to absorb what's being said to me. And I thought for a while there, I needed some time to sit with it, but I realized when I was doing that, I would be triggered. Because my mind would be there trying to translate everything that was said and what was being said to me. That happen to you?
Yeah, all the time.
Does that happen to you, China? Does that happen to you, Indira?
What's the question again?
Or you translate, like if you have a conversation and you know you need to be open and vulnerable, but you want to listen to everything they're saying, and you go to your head and then you start taking everything they said and twisting it up and attacking yourself with it, or making it that they're attacking you even. And now you don't even know how to feel. It's almost like it puts you in that space where you're stuck.
Well, I've gotten used to, I'm learning so much from the sessions, by the way, but I've gotten so used to believing the thoughts. And I have gotten so used to shutting that part of me, that 10-year-old down for so long. And there's other aspects that I can't really hear or see the beauty in my partner when I have a whole bunch of shit going on up here and I'm eating popcorn and believing it. And this one here wants to be loved and she wants to express to him, but I've been suppressing her for so long. So I had a breakthrough today. I'm just going to say it. I know my twin's watching this. He's watching.
Okay.
Well, I have nothing to hide. I tried to pick a fight with him yesterday, and it had nothing to do with him. It was, and he was being so loving. So, but I was listening to the thoughts, and I'm not going to go through what the thoughts were saying, but it started off with a bad day. I was angry, and then it was picking on past stuff. And then I was trying to pick an argument with him. And then after I got off the phone, I felt like shit. I felt like total shit. And I sat with it for a while. And then I realized a couple hours, I just can't sit with this anymore, you know? And so I called him and I apologized. And I said, this was not about you. You were so loving. You were 100% on. This is not about you. This is about me. And putting the block up. That's exactly what I did, was I put the block up. This morning, I felt this pain. You know, I think what's her, Cynthia was saying, emotions. I had an emotional hangover from listening to this and then coming out of this all day. And then all of a sudden I felt that pain. And I remembered from my sessions, I was like, I just started to cry. I let it all come out. And I said, there you are. And I'm sorry. I'm so if I had let her take over that conversation, which would have been not pick up the phone and call him, it would have been fine. The part of the child that I'm learning is softer, quieter, loves, comes from a space of, she's full of love. This is anger, hate, block. And so for me, it was something I was trained to believe. And I'm realizing that it doesn't work in this connection. It's not working in this connection. And I too had the same feeling. You know, I'm also an empath, but insecurities and all, but that's my insecurities. My insecurities were pushing her down, not listening to her, not having that connection. Also, I'm realizing not having that connection with my parents. Who shut the connection? I did.
And were your parents aware that you shut the connection?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, if you really look at it, you carry a belief system that says I can shut down connection. So the receiving end of that, your twin has to give you, so you can be on what your parents experienced from you.
Yes.
We teach people how we want them to connect to us without even knowing we're teaching them.
Yes.
The moment we tell them that you know, you did this to me because you don't think I'm good enough, and you go into that whole spiel, you're already on that train. The issue with the train is there are no tracks, and you're off a fucking cliff. And that train is heavy. It lands all the way down on the bottom, and every one of them cars, if they had people in it, they were all dead. Because you don't even realize how fast the train was going when you got there. But you do realize that you are responsible for that train, and you're responsible for who gets on that train.
Absolutely.
And the majority of the time, you don't want anybody on that train with you because you know what you're about to do with it.
Exactly. Yes, it's fucked up. Yeah, it's crazy.
Our parents treat us the way they it's like a recording, right? If you really look at what this connection makes you become very well aware of very quickly, it makes you look at everything you were taught from those you were connected from, and that's what's showing up in your connection. You, at 18 years old, some people 16, leave the home. You leave connection, or you stay in connection, but it's a dysfunctional connection for a long period of time. And you tell yourself you're suffering because of them, not because of you. Once you learn to do that, you don't realize that you're disconnected from you anymore. And you accept that. So here comes this beautiful connection, boom. And then all of a sudden, your behaviors, your reactions, your way of thinking needs to be something they have to stay connected to while you're not. And you want them to be, oh, you're denying the connection. When are you connected to yourself to know that I'm not? That's the question. Right? Well, if I have to sit around and be connected to you and you're not going to be connected to you, I'm not going to do this anymore. And that's the speech. The speech that goes on the inside of you is, oh, he's not with me because I'm not good enough. I'm too much. I give, if he has to come in this mess, he ain't gonna like it. She ain't gonna want to be a part of this. And we literally will come up with this dialogue. Meanwhile, they're going, why do they seem so distant? We don't even catch that part. We don't. We create the distance in our own connections because that's what we were taught. Yeah. It's impossible to unlearn what you're not going to make yourself present for. Why are you in there telling yourself you're not enough? Why are you in there telling yourself nobody wants a connection with you? What if you're wrong? And isn't that what you really want the most? You want to be wrong, but you won't let yourself be wrong because you need to be right.
And then the universe will literally make sure you're correct.
Yes. Well, the universe
as
goes,
times as it needs to. Exactly.
No, the universe has specific instructions when we're being right. The universe goes up, shift everybody to the left because they're being right. And it's literally that's what happens. And you're, hey, I'm back in opposites again. Yes, you are. Because you don't see that being right gets you left. Getting left gets you right. It's almost like we have to realize that we need to stand in the middle and go, I don't want to be right and I don't want to be left. I'm just going to stand here and be connected to. Because that's how I came into the world and that's how I'm going to leave it. It's hard to be in this world and realize at some point that we all want connection, but we all run from it. Not because of fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of betrayal. It's because we're doing all three of those things to ourselves already.
Right. We're
just not paying attention. But the person you're connected to is going to pay attention to that in ways you don't want them to. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, hey, they're abandoning me the way I abandoned me. This isn't right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You want them to be connected to you the way you're connected to you. If you really could look in the mirror and see everything that you're doing to yourself, they're going to reflect it back to you. So why are you getting upset when your twin does it? Oh, that's right. You never got upset at you for abandoning yourself. You don't get upset at you for rejecting yourself. You don't get upset with you for betraying yourself. You get mad at them. But where did they learn it? From you.
The blueprint.
You're a damn good teacher. I don't like being a teacher of my own connection. Well, I'm sorry. Be a student of what you're doing to yourself in connection. It's really, it's messy, but it's a beautiful mess. You're a beautiful mess. If you haven't accepted that, who are you wanting them to accept? China. That was a good breath.
Because you said that, and I'm such a visual person up here, and an image. I literally erected an image. I'm like, accept that. Why don't you want to accept that? And it's like that person doesn't that person doesn't have a soul, and that's exactly what they're trying to connect to. You know, so why would? And now I'm thinking, oh God, now it's not even a thought. Now I'm feelings like every time I rejected myself and then demanded them to accept me. Does
that work, by the way?
No, so, it actually kind of scares him.
So is it possible to have somebody be with you when you reject yourself? But you've got no problem telling them that you're rejecting yourself. And you want them to accept you while you do that. And they do. Then they don't want to be with you. And now you're mad. Make sense of that, because they gave you what you asked for, didn't they? Mm-hmm. I want you to be with me while I reject myself and tell myself I'm not good enough for you. Huh. And you don't even know what part you're supposed to play in that, so you have to give them what they need. And they need for you to abandon them and reject them, because that's what they're giving themselves, because that's what they've done to their needs. Empaths, do you even know what your needs are? You can't be an empath and tell yourself that you are an empath and you pick up other people's energy and you're there for other people's energy if you don't know your own needs.
It's the one thing that scares me the most. It's a genuine connection outside of any societal or cultural norms or standards. And I say that because it's always, let me take that always back. In the past, or what I have realized my pattern is when I'm with them, yeah, we can accept the connection I'm feeling about, if I'm, in the right mental space to feel it, I feel it. And then once I leave our space, it's, you're 27, you need a man, you should be dating, you should be doing this person's buying a home, having kids, and all that other societal stuff collapses onto it. And I literally feel heavy. Heavy.
I have a question.
But the answer is just genuine connection without the need to define or without the need to have a timetable, just a connectivity. To me, like all of me, not just the social facade.
What do you give more power to, your thinking or your feeling?
Whichever one feels safer in the moment. Whichever one, if it's thought.
What's safe about the way you think?
Got a point, right? There.
It's a theme, and you know what? Right. It's an infection. It's an infection that has already been plagued enough several times over for centuries, and here we are, able to see one another in a space that was never done. Right. And people are able to come and view this and still connect to it, and then realize that, wait a minute, this isn't just me. I am infected with too much thinking and not enough feeling. And the more I sit and try to convince myself that thinking has somehow some ability in this connection, I'm fucking wrong. And I don't want to admit that, because I need more thought, because that's what I've been left alone with for a majority of my life. Your thinking is the one thing that is betraying you in this connection. And it doesn't give a shit about what you're feeling because it can't feel anything. There's never been a thought that actually feels anything. But it's kind of like what you said when you said, well, I'll sit and I'll think, and then I'll feel. And I'm going, no, your feeling was there, and then your thinking started attacking the feeling. And then as soon as you weren't with your twin, your thinking said, oh, overdrive, she was abandoning us. Let's tell her what we really feel about this feeling, because it's not a really comfortable feeling because we can't feel it. Right? And that's literally what you're doing. You're doing this in the background. Meanwhile, the person you're connected to is going, how come I feel like they're not even, I don't feel anything. I don't feel them. I feel like they're in a really bad space. Maybe I just do nothing but bring bad karma to them, bring bad feelings to them. And now they're over there feeling like they're responsible for why you feel bad. And now they've blocked you. Now they don't want to talk to you, because every time that they do talk to you or don't talk to you, you feel bad. So what is the connection to you? Is that the connection is there to make you feel good or make you feel bad, or you're not even paying attention to that? You keep going, they're not answering my text, they're not responding to me, and all they do is make me miserable, and I want a connection with them. It's bullshit. That's not, I want a connection to them. Get that shit right. We can't. Our thinking is infecting connection. And we're not ready for surgery. So we're going to let the symptoms continue to feed the disease of thought. Meanwhile, they're over there going, I thought they were connected to me. Well, maybe they are connected to me, and I'm just not enough, because they seem to be miserable every time they don't hear from me. They seem to be upset when they think that I'm out there doing something else. They can't trust how they feel about me, so why should I trust what they feel about me? So I guess maybe I should probably abandon this, because I'd rather be with somebody who can at least trust how they feel about me. When do you do that for yourself again? When you trust your feelings and know that your feelings are real, instead of going, oh, well, why don't I just, if they'll show up for my feelings, I will too. When did that ever work? Does that work, Indira?
Yeah.
No?
No.
Not even a little? Is there a way we can get it to work?
Well, for me, it starts with me, not with him.
So there's no possible way for parole.
For parole? What did you say?
Well, it's like I have a makeshift prison. I'm going to tell myself I'm not going to feel anything until she shows up.
Well, that was the condition. I know for me growing up, it was like putting the thermometer in somebody else's mouth to see how I felt. I still do it sometimes.
No,
That was a great analogy.
We all have to sit with that one for a minute. And that's what we're constantly checking the temperature of our connection that way. I'm going to, kind of just, check in and see how they're doing. Oh, there's pictures with him with somebody else, or there's pictures with her and somebody else. And oh, well, I must be feeling horrible because they're choosing somebody else. We're constantly checking to see how we're being disconnected from, but we don't constantly check to see how we're being connected to. What the hell is wrong with us? Shouldn't somebody teach that somewhere? Oh, wait a minute. Why would somebody need to teach us something we already have within us?
Mm.
You know how to be connected to. We all do. We're just scared of it because we see so many people having these relationships and getting married without being connected. But the truth is, yeah, they're connected. They're just finding the same family dynamic they had or came from, and they're repeating it. The same divorce happens the same way. The same results happen the same way. When are we going to do something new?
Mm.
That's what this connection is trying to bring through. But we're all too busy trying to tell ourselves how we all got to be separated. It's not how we all got to come together. What's it going to take? I think it's going to take all of you. I can feel it. Can you imagine if this entire world was connected? Yeah, it feels kind of good. But then when it does, a pipe dream, because we have thinking. The thinking comes back and goes, never going to happen. We're all kind of sitting around thinking about it. Nobody's sitting around feeling it. But if we all sat and just felt it, wonder what that would change. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank
Those
you.
of you, those of you in the States, happy Thanksgiving. Those of you around the world, happy Black Friday. Hey, girl, it's Felicia.
Hey.
You're going to come in when I'm getting ready to say bye, Felicia. But see, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give you a few.
Sorry.
I know. I had to Friday that moment because it's Wednesday.
I know everyone does that
I know.
knows my name is Felicia. It's okay.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm feeling very connected right now. I'm nervous because I'm on here with everyone and I'm feeling everyone, but I feel pretty connected right now. So I'm good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're happy
Sorry,
you're here.
I popped in a little late because I'm cooking, but I really wanted to check in for the now. So yeah.
I'm gonna go cook now. Can you imagine? Yeah, I'm gonna be in the kitchen. I'm gonna be in there. I got my little apron. Yeah, I'm good to go. I'm gonna start with the banana pudding because that's the only thing I'm gonna eat. I make one hell of one, so I'm gonna do that first, and then I guess I'll stuff the turkey. I'm gonna kind of walk myself through everything I want to do, only to realize that once I get down in front of her, she's gonna be telling me what to do. Connection. We have to stop paying attention to timelines. I think that's really hurting us. Connection doesn't know what time is. Connection knows what connection is, but connection just doesn't know what time is. That's the only way you actually change in connection is when you realize you ain't got no more time. Staying connected to each other without time is how you heal. And it's how you change things. I changed so many things about myself because I didn't have any more time. What would you do if you just said, I want connection, I don't want time? Because you can't have both. If you have time, you're going to turn it into a relationship. And what are you doing to the connection to yourself when you do that? You came into this world without knowing what time was because you were connected. You were taught time and you disconnected. You're allowed to have connection. We all are. We love you guys so much.
We love you too.
Thank you.
This is so needed.
Next week, we're going to do men's soul chat. Well, we're going to do a little bit of a whole bunch of things, but I believe we're going to prepare for what's coming in the new year. Sherry is she's back and she's really kind of writing up some things while she hasn't really been working with me, but she's determined to change some very deep things when she comes back. So
Wow. Sorry to cut in one more time.
that's okay.
I just remembered you and Sherry were in my dream like 2 nights ago.
Mhm. Did we tell you what to do?
From what I remember, it was Sherry telling me, "Get back into root camp." She yelled at me. She was like, "Get back into root camp because I'm ready to do this with you. I'm ready to do this with you." That's what her energy was.
She is. She's raring. I think we're coming up with something even deeper than root camp, so we'll see what happens.
Deeper
She
than
said
root camp.
she said Spirit's been really talking to her. I mean, as she's reconnecting to a lot of different things, there's a lot of things that she's picked up on that she was growing in here with me in the connection. But it really kind of pointed to some deeper things that we're all not paying attention to. she's good for that. She's always been good for that. I mean, she's what you call an archaeologist of connection. I mean, she really she digs deep. She doesn't sound like it, but if you go back and watch how she was to where she is now, a lot of you have reached out and said, she's not forgetting what she said. And I said, oh yeah, she's back, and she's much sharper. She's more connected. It's interesting how deep connection actually goes when you let it. Now all you got to do is just let it. Let yourself have connection. That's the one thing you're not doing, but it's the one thing you should. We love you guys.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you guys soon.
Okay, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
And thank you all for watching. And don't forget, if you want to send them some love, we'll take some love. If you want to send some energy, we'll take some energy. And if you'd like to do 30 days, find us. Or 30 minutes, not 30 days. Ooh, 30 days. Where did that come from? I guess I'll